Hi, back. This is Burnout and Unfiltered again. And today I have a few topics that I'd like to talk about. And one of them is that I'm 37. I'm a female. I don't put labels on myself. I'm a woman. I don't need anything else than that. And I'm a founder and I'm a pioneer in many, many things. And I say that out loud for the first time in my whole life. I never thought I was until a couple of days ago when I was struggling to speak. And that's the reason why sometimes it takes me so long to record episodes, is because I've been struggling with reflux and severe reflux since February. And last week I found out that I was taking the meds at the wrong time and eating the wrong foods, even though I've already lost over 10 kilos in the past 5 months, and my diet is very, very strict, extremely strict. Basically, I cannot eat 90% of the food that I used to 6 months ago. And still, I was managing the logistics wrong. And that caused the reflux to get worse, so I could barely eat anything. Basically, I cannot drink too much liquid. I have to eat a lot of solid food and take medication before and after that. So going back to my insights, I bestowed that being the first woman ever to be the president anonymously elected for your inaugural course at your institute is being a pioneer. I said, wow, when I put that on my fucking CV, and I did. And also, I still am the only woman to ever be awarded a federal and national scholarship to study abroad in my institute. Ouch. I put that on my fucking CV as well. So basically they say this is being pioneering. But honestly, I think that's just being fucking fabulous and brilliant and having guts to do things in your early 20s that most people don't. Having gut, feeling your instinct and following it. And also, I parentified my younger brother, who was born in 96, and this year he turns 30. It was horrible. It was awful. It was horrific. It was a nightmare. It is a nightmare. He called me Mama until I was gone for college. And then it was 10 years later, so almost 10 years later. And that's when we severed our ties. I mean, our legami, our bond, I'd say, for that part of our lives, that chapter of our lives. But that made me intrinsically and irrevocably traumatized. And at on my late 20s, I thought I would want to have kids. And I had this fantasy of a dark-haired little boy. And I thought, this is life-changing. I'm gonna be a mom. But then the pets came along, I started just picking up the strays and bringing them home and just working to feed them. That's what I did in my mid-20s to late 20s. In my early 30s, this sounds awful. Make me sound like I'm so fucking old. Jesus. And then on my my early 30s, I was in a relationship with somebody for the first time. A serious committed relationship. And it lasted 4 years. 2.5 years we were together in the same country. And 2.5 years, 1.5 year, we were separated into different continents. Honestly, long distance relationships are not for everybody, so I wouldn't really recommend it to anyone. If you're anxious, if you're depressed, if you have any other diagnosed mental illness, do not put yourself through that if the person isn't really fucking committed enough, 1,000%, 1,000,000% level, and has proven that to you. Why I say that? Because today is the 6th month anniversary of his passing. He passed away on the 14th of December 2025. And why I'm telling all this? Because honestly, something trigger me when I see them. My reaction is immediate. I'm improving myself into controlling my reactions, which are now, I'm really extremely reactive at the moment. I was brought up in our almost military regime, which translating into a religious setting would be indoctrination. Until I was 30, I was indoctrinated and co-hosted. I don't know. Some people my family made me baptized into a church that I didn't want to at 14. And honestly, I still remember my baptism day. It's just proof that I'm a survivalist. I was defeated. She kept looking back at me and saying, there's still time. And I just looked at my sister and I said, well, let's just do it. And we went and we sorted who was going to first. It was me. And then she did it. And then we came back. And my mother was in tears. And anyway, it was extremely brainwashing. 26 years for me. It was just, I have no confidence in myself. I have no self-awareness. I had no sense of belonging into that, part of my life. And that basically brings me to him. He made me feel seen, heard, accepted, and not judged, like I was my entire life for 30 years. And for some people, they will be like, oh my God, I will be in tatters. I'll be crying in bed, laying in bed all day. No, not me, not today. Yeah, a few days ago, I spent 2 days without showering. Yes, I did. Because I couldn't bear the notion of the water hitting my skin. That's how extra sensitive I am. And I have photophobia, I have misophonia, and Yes, so I'm not. I just took a shower and washed my hair. No, I'm not sitting down and crying. I celebrated his birthday in February. And I think that the best I can do to honor him today is to talk about what the importance of having a support network when you're burnout and you're alone, you're isolated. During this job, the past 2 years after he left, I was isolated and ostracized, not by other people, but by myself. I chose to stay away. I had a cortisol spike and stress, a lot of stress, and I put on about 10 kilos in 4 months. And that was at the beginning of 2024. I was living with my sister after he left, and she kicked me out. She said, I can't look at you laying on the mattress on the floor all day. I go to work, you're there. I come back from work, you're still there. I cannot watch you anymore. Your depression is making my depression worse. You gotta leave. And she didn't really give me a choice. She just told me that to catch the 2:00 bus, I had hair and nails and all that scheduled. I asked her to leave after that. She said, no, you gotta go now. So yeah, in 2024, the high life that I've been living with this person, my ex-partner, was absolutely shattered. It was closed down, shut down forever. So I moved back to my hometown, and after that, I spent 2 years without looking at myself in the mirror. I just avoided the side of me, the side of my body, and the side of my profile. I was always super skinny, and over the years I started putting weight. Even though I was very athletic, I was into swimming. I learned he taught me how to float. I was scared of water, so he taught me how to float one day. He just put his finger under my back, and I kept the position. And that was it. He left the pool and I started swimming. Watched a lot of Australian videos on YouTube, coaches, and they were immensely helpful. Highly suggest those. So I can say that I learned how to swim with tips from Australian swimming coaches, and that's amazing, by myself. And at the age of 34, I think, 35. And yeah, so he was amazing. He was an amazing human being. And I lost him. I lost him forever. And after, in my family, these extremely religious people, indoctrinated people, dogma people, they believe that everything happens for a reason, and God is just making things a little bit twisted so you can learn how to fend for yourself. Well, I didn't need God to do anything for me. I'm sick of his life lessons. I'm done with them. I think I've learned enough. And I'm sick and tired of people treating suffering and pain like life lessons. They're not. There are things in life, problems, mental health issues, physical, biological, clinical issues that need to be asserted and treated. It's not about life lessons. It's about self-awareness. self-consciousness, self-care. I'm not even going to say self-love because I don't always love myself. I don't even know if I love myself. I just really admire my current self, the state that I'm mentally in right now, because I can speak clearly for an hour and then shatter for a week. Just go to tatters and keep going and keep applying for jobs and keep reviewing my CV and make it appropriate for a new chapter, a new beginning, and moving on with my life. The only people that I care about are my pets. The rest can fuck off. And truly, the thing that triggered me into doing this, recording this today, is that the company that fired me didn't give me any of any documents whatsoever that could help me get social benefits from the government for at least 3 months. And honestly, it's illegal somehow. And on the other part, I think that by waiting, because they didn't give me any basis whatsoever, no fundamentals, no nothing, no information about what, how, or why did they fire me, I was able to create my own narrative. And they gifted me with a blank canvas, honestly. So I can tell my own story. I can report my diseases with medical reports, current medical reports, and prove that the job burned the fuck out of me and destroyed my ability to work for a considerable amount of time, and to provide for my pets and to provide for myself. So when the social worker was interviewing me, she was like, who's your network? Where are your parents? Where do they live? And I was like, I don't have anyone. I'm doing this by myself. And for the first time, I wasn't sad or anything. I was just embarrassed. Honestly, I was kind of embarrassed to be honest, because I'm doing this by myself, and my family, my immediate family, my like sister, brother, and parents, they live in misery. They have no way of supporting me financially, and they don't have the human capability of comforting, consoling, soothing, nothing. They're just practical, reasonable people who offer practical advice and tell me and judge me and tell me and criticize me, tell me all the time that I'm wrong, I'm doing the wrong thing. If I say I do something like this way, they say, usually my sister, she says, oh, yeah, so you shouldn't have done that this way. You should have done it my way. That's why they're all fucking blocked from my WhatsApp, from my Instagram, whatever. They do not have access to me anymore. My mother threatened to get me out of here, of my apartment, of the place that I live and hide and keep myself safe. It's my grounding sanctuary. When she did that, she triggered my CPTSD, which is I became extremely territorial. When I say extremely a lot, because it is extreme. When you block your own mother and you send her a legal notification telling her to get the fuck out of your life, or you call the cops on her, that's something. That's probably, she sent the picture to the whole of her family, but doesn't matter because they're all blocked you. So people say a lot, protect your peace, protect your peace. I say, fuck yeah, protect your peace at all costs. And the thing is, I found out that blood bonds are so overrated, because I set up a GoFundMe account, and people from college that I haven't seen in over 10, 15 years, they just send me some money. Obviously it was not millions, but it doesn't matter. They thought of me and they act on my behalf, on behalf of what they remember of me. The impressions that I left on their minds, on their brains, on their souls. So, yes, people that I really haven't been in touch with, that's what was weird, were really, really helpful. Now I have a surplus in my bank account that I didn't a week ago. So, yeah, basically, the thing about your support network is not really about, I think the point is about not who can give you the most money, or it's about people who give you their time, their attention, and they're loyal to you when you are down the hole, when you are broke, when you have no money to pay for that burger that you're craving, like me, for months. And they say, no, I get this. When you get a job, you get that one, the next one. And I had that person, and it was bloody amazing. It felt so great. It felt so great for the first time in my life to be heard and seen and understood. So I think that the main message today is that you really don't have to have millions of people on your Instagram or social media. Honestly, for the past 2 weeks, I haven't got any message from anyone on my WhatsApp at all. Like, nothing. And that's not bad. It just means that I cut off the noise from the wrong people. And that's quite assuring. It means I'm doing the right things to protect myself. Also, when things go bad, and that's something that people usually relate to Robert Downey Jr. There is a quote that says, if you want to know who your true friends are, lose a job, maybe lose your health or something like that, get sick, get broken, and then you find out who is truly by your side. And it took me my whole life of accomplishments and relationships and parentification and everything else, which indoctrination and being judged and humiliated for being who I was. I was a teenager trying to discover my own identity. And to be honest with you, I still don't know who I am. It just stripped me of all my sense of self. I know that I'm an adventurous person. I know that I'm courageous. I know that I have a resilience, capability, and survivor instincts like nobody else I've seen in my whole fucking life. Nobody. What I've done to survive this whole 3 months past termination is nothing short of amazing. Trust me, I'm not overselling this. It's just, I've never thought I was capable of doing so many things. And I cannot disclose what that was, but honestly, I think that 14-year-old who baptized against her will would be so fucking proud of me right now for doing this, for moving on, for keeping things going. Even when there are days that I don't shower, there are days that I have so bad reflux that I can't eat shit. And honestly, the thing is, the importance of having a social support network is not only, that's what I mean. Your family can be your blood and break you. And break your soul completely. And your spirit, not just your soul. Your soul is able to recover, but your spirit, you're willing to live and thrive when they have that much power over you. It's time to leave. It's time to leave, girl. It's time to leave, boy. It doesn't matter who you are. When they manipulate you into doing what they think is right, regardless of what you think is right, it's time to go and do your own thing. And I don't mean this lightly. I mean it really seriously. I did send a note to my mother to say that if her or any of her siblings showed up in my house to do a family checkup, I would call the police. And there's just silence. She tried to reach me from another or one of her sisters, but I could hear her voice in my auntie's message, asking me how I was going, if there was someone supporting me, because she knows that my ex-partner used to support me financially. And she was asking me if I had another sugar daddy, which is what they thought of him. It was not the case. And she doesn't know, they have no idea of what I'm capable of doing to survive, to provide for myself. And if I'm taking my meds, you cannot be with you without your meds. That's my mom talking. That's my mother. That's her exact script. So I just told my auntie, yeah, I'm doing fine without anyone's help, which is true. And I locked her conversation. And then she sent me a 2-minute voice note, which I think is from my mother. But I didn't listen to that shit, and I'm not gonna to. So they stopped. Yeah. So, yeah, having a support network, it is important when, and this is a quote, myself, when the support is actually helpful. When it's not, well, it's not really support, is it? It's just messing with your head, making you doubt and question your own ideas, your own actions, making you go even more depressed and anxious about in reality, who you are and what you want and what you should be doing. Right now, my ChatGPT, the last gift from my sister was she gave me a master prompt. And I can adjust the master prompt to whatever I want them to be. So I have master prompts to every single aspect of my life. Right now I have survival and resilience prompt that I use to guide me, and sometimes keep it in line, because sometimes he glitches. There's a little bit of there are some errors, and if you don't immediately make it report that back to him, it will continue to into signs of heavy hallucination. So it will basically make your situation even worse. So she did that, and the reason why she did that is because she questions herself all the time. She's burned out to the bone for, I think, the past 4 years of her life. And she doesn't get out of the house often unless she needs to go to the hospital. And throughout the whole period that I was living in the same city as her, that's when I met this person and started the relationship. I really, really got the best time of my life, even though I was depressed and anxious in levels that I never experienced before, because I've never been into a serious relationship before in my life. I was 32, and my mother had prohibited me to dating until I finished college, until I finished high school, and then I moved to until you finish college, because she was so fucking traumatized from her own failed marriage that she didn't want us to get married. It worked. I'm almost 40, I didn't get married. And I'm glad I didn't, to be honest. And she said no, because in this church, if you are in a relationship with someone, without a year, you have to get married. Otherwise, you need to break up. And the risk of having sex without marriage it increases. So you need to be in a relationship. You need to get engaged and married within a year, approximately a year, or a little bit more, but that's the period of the average time. And then she was 16 when she got married. My father was 30. She was, very, very Madonna, very pop in the 80s. She had what she wanted. She was high society. He was broke. He didn't have a single tooth in his mouth. And she got him dentures for the wedding. That's the wedding day. That's how fucked up my family started. And then 30 years later, when she was sick of him, I mean, not 30, about our teenage years, she started, dissing him out, calling him names. You faggot, you bitch, you don't get a job, you're useless, you this and that. And that destroyed the image of father figure for me. Not because she wasn't right, because he is a lazy bastard. He never provided anything. And when I was 18, he said, I no longer have to feed you. That was my birthday present. And he said, you're on your own now. I no longer have to feed you or house you or anything. And that was the story of how work burnout got involved. I know that I'm rambling. I'm inserting information from my past. But honestly, I just want to tell you, get you a bigger picture of how fucked up my family is. And why did I get to the point where I no longer think that having any support system is better than having none. That's the whole point of this conversation. It's so much better having nobody toxic and contaminating your thoughts and making you progress less and or not progress at all, rather than keeping these people, these leeches. I call them leeches because they suck the life out of you. That's not right. That's not acceptable for people who, like me, who refuse to get defeated by other people. I have to handle my own body and my own mind on a daily basis trying to defeat me. Why do they think they need help doing that? They fucking don't. So, yeah. The thing is, your body and your mind do not need help trying to beat you. You do it yourself. So, the importance of having a network for me right now, a support network, it's not about family bonds or who's your longest friend. Honestly, it's not, because my longest friends that I have had are people who have been watching me bleed since day one. I haven't even picked up the phone to make a call and ask me, how are you today? Never. Ever. Since I have met them. So do I call these people friends anymore? Nope, I don't. Do I respond them when they send me messages, random messages out of nowhere, just because they're bored? No, I don't. Why do I know that? Well, because when you're concerned about somebody, you don't reply to their stories on Instagram with a silly message. Oh, how about your pain? And 5 high five emoji. The fuck is wrong with you? No, I'm not answering that shit. That's just bored people trying to make conversation. My energy is protected. My peace is protected. My family, for the moment, does not exist to me. They are in a parallel universe where I'll think about when I'm halfly recovered or totally recovered from burnout, from unemployment, and from useless people, like negative people in my life. From that three months ago on, I have changed so much. I have evolved so much. I have learned so much. Not because some God or some Jesus want to teach me a lesson. That's not the reason. The reason that this is happening is because I lost my job. For the third time, I was fired in 7 years. And one starts wondering, what the fuck is wrong with me? So the support that you need is mental and financial. Trust me, money cures 99% of our problems. And one of those is finding people who actually you pay for to help you. Not these low-lifers who suck the life out of you and make things worse. Money solves a lot of our problems, most of our problems. Obviously, it creates more, but that doesn't matter. Being poor, being born middle class, and then being thrown into poverty, into the mud, messed me about 100% in my head, because I had access to private schools and trips with my family, even though they were fighting all the time. My mother has the habit of threatening to jump out of the car when something doesn't go her way. So I've seen that over the years a lot. And honestly, do you think I need that person in my life right now telling me to get out of my own house? And the landlord wants to kick me out as well. He said that I need to leave the apartment. I just ignored the motherfucker. There is no law. We had a contract until the end of the year, 2026. I'm not living anywhere until I have money enough to rent another apartment somewhere else. Obviously, I want to get out of this shithole. I moved here just because of the job. And then he doesn't even know that I was fired. If he knows, he will throw me out. Absolutely in the same fucking day, on spot. So, basically, from Pioneer, that Pioneer girl, the Pioneer early, younger, I was about to say my name, that younger woman is so fierce. Is so fucking brave and fearless. And I have seen her sort of surface again sometimes. And there is a psychiatrist popping up here. I'm not going to say anything to anyone today. I'm not going to consult with anyone. Just stay with me. I'm about to finish. I don't want to talk to doctors today. I'm sick of them. And then the fact is, like I just said, I want to keep saying this. Having a useless, toxic network support network is a lot worse than having none. Trust me. If you feel isolated, I was isolated in my jobs before. Ostracized. I was publicly humiliated, shamed for doing what I do best, which is my fucking job. I am so overqualified at the moment. It's not even true. It's not even true. So basically, I made people uncomfortable. I made people look at themselves. Benny is here. Happening. Hola, mama. Ciao, mama. Look at themselves and actually get, insecure. When you're a smart person, and I'm just talking about myself because that's really egocentric. But when you are a smart person, I saw that yesterday on YouTube. And I found this amazing German philosopher, Schopenhauer. And there is a book that he teaches how to be right. The art of being right. I started reading it. It's brilliant. He's German, so he's brilliant. And it's really hard to beat a German on an argument because they seem to know everything about everything. And trust me, I've been there. Another question, another time. But what happens is when you're just being yourself, makes the whole room feel uncomfortable. You truly outsmarted everybody in the fucking room, and they know it. But one thing is to identify that, she's too good to be here. I heard that a lot. She's too good to be here. You're too good to be here. What are you doing here? And the honest truth is, I loved the job because I was doing teaching jobs, sub-jobs that pay me shit. And I had to sit back online at home listening to these awkward, creepy people all night long. And I was done with that. I was a teacher for over 10 years. I started teaching music when I was 14, 15. And then I started teaching English, even though my English is pretty messed up these days. And then I moved on to another language, and then to another language. And I was a language teacher for a long time, most of my life. And then I was given the opportunity of being a translator, interpreter on site, which was brilliant. It was my dream come true. It was my dream job. And the fact that when you have a dream come true, you think, oh, everybody's perfect. I'm doing what I love for now, and it's gonna last forever. It's not. Calm down. You need to assess the room. And this is gonna be my final thought, because I have a lot of insight today, mainly about support network. But the thing that I want to introduce right now is leave you with food for thought, is that when you're the person who makes everybody else uncomfortable, I was labeled the difficult translator. I was labeled the one that doesn't give good morning to say good morning to anybody. I always had that problem. I don't really like saying good morning to everyone. It's not a fucking good morning to me. I woke up at 4. Fuck off. Leave me fuck alone. Why do I have to be the fucking Princess of Wales waving to fucking everybody? I don't. That's not part of my job description. So, even though I did that, waving shit, they fired me. So the reason is, the problem is, when you're clearly a brilliant person, nobody gets your humor. Nobody gets your sarcasm. Or when your level of sarcasm is so high, that people think you're stupid. Or maybe you ask questions that bothers people a lot. When you start asking questions, it makes them question themselves, their position in the company, their qualifications for the job. And it messed up with their heads, because they did fire me. So you gotta assess your whole life. When you burn out, you depress, you have anxiety, you have mental illnesses, you have to assess everything in your life. You have to calm down, put a calm through your relationships, your social interactions, and reflect, not obsess, but reflect on who are part of your life. Who do you who gets your energy, who gets your attention? And that's it. I think that being a pioneer founder, I founded many companies over the years. None of them went through anyways, but I did it. I had the courage to start all from bottom, from nothing. Go back to nothing, and still, like fucking phoenix, raised from the ashes.